Here's an incredible expression from a guy that's had a lot of impact on my life, Richard Smalley. Originally, I knew of him because he was the editor of a magazine called Gnosis, which completely bended my frames of reality when I was in my mid to late teens. I subscribed to it for years, and it was such an incredible magazine. This is from his book, Inner Christianity, a guide to the esoteric tradition. We hear esoteric a lot. That means further in. There's also that word exoteric. You don't hear it a lot. A lot of times, if you look at in some dictionaries, it's not even there. That means further out. So esoteric would be the more inner. When I say not guts, of course, those more inwardly, as in non-manifest focused, more on feeling rather than expression. And of course, those sort of ideas, religions that focus more on what you're doing and not doing, letters on a page, that would be exoteric, okay? So this to me is really an essence of the second beatitude, where it says, blessed are the mourners. Well, that word doesn't really mean just mourn as in suffer. What it really means is to allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. The root is abid. Abid in Aramaic is an interesting word because it means submission to what is. Intriguingly, if I go up to some Arabic speakers today, and if I went up to one with really dark skin and I said abid, I'd probably get a smack across the face because it's similar to what that N-word means here in America. Essentially, you submit to me that you're somehow subservient. That's not what it meant in the Aramaic in any way, shape, or form, okay? What it meant is not to give up, not to give in, not to surrender in the way that somehow you're giving up, but rather that you're allowing yourself, the realization that the Tao is like a river flowing home to the sea, and you're letting yourself be open to whatever it is that's moving in this moment. And I will say that at the end of the second beatitude, it's not so much shall be comforted. It's not an incorrect translation. It's about 1% out of 100. Literally what that word means, bayun, is to see the face of that which you long for. An intriguing thing, it also means to be freed from stress, mental stress. So if I take the book here, it's kind of like you have a pencil or a book and you just kind of release the stress of a goal, of something that you really were desiring to happen, and you just let it go and allow yourself to surrender into whatever's moving in the moment, okay? So this is from Richard Smalley from Inner Christianity. This quote was a huge part of a catalyst for me that was a reality shift that once that door opened, I realized how completely asleep I was in my life, especially about biblical type things. I didn't have a clue that I didn't have a clue, okay? It says, rather than repressing the passions, the trick is to feel them as fully as possible, without yielding to them or becoming identified with them. This can be practiced in almost any setting, and I speak of this one a lot. Take the quintessentially American irritation of being cut off in traffic. A common response is to react, to honk or to curse at the person, or at least mutter under your breath. If you do not react, it is usually a matter of habit, the good manners inculcated from childhood, or a fear of retaliation, especially now. Think road rage. In these cases, you may have a sense of what colloquial language calls putting a lid on it, stifling the energy and letting it simmer underneath. See that a lot in the sort of New Age, New Thought worlds, a lot. To turn this experience into an esoteric practice, when you are cut off in traffic, you can restrain the impulse to react while feeling the irritation fully. And although he doesn't say it in here, how do I do that? Anybody that's ever mentored with me, listened to one of my audio programs, read my book, my DVD, all of the things that I've been putting out there for decades now, one root key is, what's the first thing that happens when someone cuts you off in traffic? What's the first thing that happens when you find out someone you love was tragically killed? Think about that. Was it the death that caused what you're feeling? No, because it would have happened as soon as it happened. Your breath would have stopped. No, it was the knowledge of it, the gnosis of it. Now think about that. It's not the actual situation that caused it, but rather the response and or reaction, the coming up, the arising of that which was already within you. And when we don't like how it feels, without even thinking about it, we stop breathing. Okay? It's all over my work. If you want to learn more about it, watch my videos. I talk about it constantly. It's in my retreats. If you really want to get deep, the mentoring process is the most powerful way that you can really dig into that if you want to really go into that one-on-one with me. To turn this experience into an esoteric practice when you're cut off in traffic, you can restrain the impulse, I'm rereading this, to react while feeling the irritation fully. Breathe too. It is most helpful to feel it somatically, in your body as much as possible. So many of the things say deny the body. Bull, that's your temple. This is the Haikla. Feel it somatically as much as possible. If you do this, you may even notice a subtle burning or effervescence in some part of the body, say the limbs or the abdomen. What I would add is it'll happen in your power points, places of motion. Right here in your jaw, it'll come on the side of your face. You'll feel the burn coming in here. You'll feel it on your neck. You'll feel it on your elbows and the inside of your elbow. You feel it in your hips. You'll feel it in your knees. You get really wobbly and loosey-goosey, okay? If you do this, you notice the burning, the effervescence. If you keep some attention on this sensation, how do you do that? Don't just look at it. Don't think about it. Just, again, come back to that. Breathe into that. Breathe into it. You may notice that the irritation exhausts itself and that its energy is somehow recycled back into your system. You have burned up the emotion. Literally, the word motus anima in Latin, energy and motion, instead of carrying it around. This is how we open. This is how we move into those first three beatitudes of home and empty in Ruha, in breath, spirit, energy. Second is allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that's moving in your system. And number three, Makike, the third beatitude, not meek as in shrink back, but humility as in open, as in allowing it to flow. Letting go and allowing whatever is moving to move. And this is how we realize and wake up to what it really means to be truly open.